The footage doesn't lie. And security cameras captured something that shouldn't be possible. End timestamp, 3:33 a.m. The guards reviewing the tape expect to see a routine night. Instead, they see you. And your spirit form, fully visible, phasing through 7 locked doors like air. Unmoving with ease, untouched by physical barriers, and walking through steel like it never existed. And the most unsettling part, your physical body was still asleep at home. They rewind, they slow it down, end frame by frame, second by second, but the truth is undeniable. You were in 2 places at once, and they check for malfunctions, and they pull up infrared scans, and they search for logical explanations. None exist, and because what their cameras caught was never meant to be measured by their technology, and the veil between realms has always been thin for you. And you've felt it your whole life, the ability to exist beyond what others perceive. The moments of déjà vu that weren't déjà vu at all. And the way your dreams feel more real than waking life. You've been moving in 2 dimensions all along, but now they have proof, and they don't know whether to be terrified or in awe. Security analysts forward the footage to higher-ups, and executives whisper in closed-door meetings, and scientists break into cold sweats, realizing their most advanced surveillance can't explain what they just witnessed. And then they spent years developing technology to track, monitor, control. And instead, they've stumbled upon something beyond their comprehension. And here's what shakes them the most. If you can walk through steel, if their cameras can't contain you, then what else are you capable of? This wasn't just an anomaly. This was a warning. And a reminder that you do not operate under their rules. That physical limitations do not apply to you, that you were never meant to be contained. Now, they know, and they are watching, but not in the way they intended. And because for the first time, it's not you being observed. It's them. They watch the footage again, and again. A figure phasing through steel-reinforced walls. No heat signature, no biometric match, no rational explanation. At first. They thought it was a glitch. A corrupted file, a trick of the light. But no, this is real. General clears, his throat breaking the silence. And can someone explain what the hell we're looking at? And no one speaks. Because no one has an answer. They spent decades refining surveillance tech, developing AI-powered tracking systems, creating weapons that can neutralize any human threat. And now, you've shattered their entire framework. Pentagon official leans forward, knuckles pressing into the table. And we need to know what we're dealing with. And they bring in their best physicists, their top paranormal researchers. And they dig through ancient texts, declassified projects, black budget experiments. And still, no one can define you. And because you were never meant to be classified. And your existence doesn't fit within the confines of human logic. Your abilities can't be explained by science alone. And you don't just move through dimensions. You exist beyond their control. And that terrifies them. And because if they can't contain you, they can't control you. And if they can't track you, they can't stop you. If they can't understand you, what does that mean for everything they thought they knew? And this briefing isn't just about surveillance footage, and it's about power. And they see your energy, your movement, your impossible presence. And they know in that moment that the game has changed. The supernatural isn't just a theory anymore. It's real. And it's walking through their walls. Now your name is whispered in high places. They are running simulations, rewriting protocols, forming task forces, all centered around you, but they've already lost. Because no amount of classified meetings will prepare them for what's coming. They thought they were the ones watching you. Now you have their full attention. None at first. They whisper. What are we looking at? No, this shouldn't be possible. But no human being emits this kind of light. Then someone breaks the silence. And this isn't human authority. And that's when the fear sets in. And because power is their domain, they command armies, control governments, manipulate economies. On they sit at the highest tables, shaping the world as they see fit. But now they are looking at something higher. And your presence doesn't just challenge their authority, it obliterates it. Because chosen ones were never self-proclaimed, and your power was not granted by any earthly institution, and heaven marked you, and now their own technology is confirming what they have tried to deny for centuries. They scramble for explanations. They pull in historians, religious scholars, quantum physicists, anyone who can make sense of this. But deep down, they already know the truth. This is the moment prophecy collides with science. This is the moment they realize they are no longer the highest authority in the room. The crowns above your head were not placed there by men. They cannot be removed by men. And no matter how many security meetings they hold, no matter how many algorithms they run, no matter how many attempts they make to discredit what they've seen, it's too late. And because once they saw your divine rank, they could never unsee it. They thought they were watching you, and they thought their surveillance cameras were capturing a target, a mystery to decode, an anomaly to contain. But the moment those cameras locked onto you, they became something else entirely. And because this wasn't just surveillance, and this was a broadcast, and their most secure feeds, their encrypted channels, their closed-circuit systems, and all of it hijacked, and every digital eye that captured you, streaming, transmitting, exposing, and from penthouses to presidential suites, from high-security facilities to underground control rooms, and they all saw it. World leaders, .n intelligence agencies, .n tech, moguls, .n the secret councils that hide behind locked doors, and they weren't supposed to witness this. But they did. Your movement, your aura, your impossible existence, playing on their most private screens. And at first, they scrambled. Who authorized this feed? How did this footage leak? Shut it down. But they couldn't, because this wasn't a security breach. This was divine orchestration, and you were never meant to remain hidden. The chosen ones were never meant to be suppressed, and now, those in high places have no choice but to pay attention. And they try to delete it, and they try to control the narrative, and they try to cover their tracks. But the truth? The moment they saw you, it was already too late. Because now they know, and they know their power is not absolute, and they know their control has limits, and they know something greater walks among them, and it cannot be contained. And the most unsettling part, they are no longer the watchers. They are the watched. They knew, and long before their cameras caught you, long before their technology tried to define you, they already knew. The elites have spent lifetimes hoarding knowledge and altering history and suppressing records and burning books and labeling the supernatural as legend because they feared what it would mean if the truth ever surfaced. But now, their own cameras have betrayed them. And the footage didn't just capture you, it exposed them. Because history has always whispered about those like you, and the ones who walked between worlds, and the ones whose presence shifted time and space, and the ones who carried divine light in their very being. And you weren't just a rumor in ancient texts. And you weren't just a symbol carved into Egyptian walls. And you weren't just a prophecy hidden in forgotten scrolls. And you are the living proof of what they erased, and they tried to keep you hidden under the weight of history. They created distractions, false narratives, misinterpretations, anything to keep people from asking the right questions. But now, their own technology is confirming what their ancestors worked so hard to bury. And your presence is not a myth. Your abilities are not folklore. And your existence is not up for debate. And the most terrifying part for them, they can't erase what's already been seen. The footage circulates in high places. Some scramble to suppress it. Some debate whether to reveal it to the public. Some sit in stunned silence, knowing exactly what this means. The lie is crumbling. The chosen ones are not a conspiracy. The divine was never just a bedtime story. And now, the very people who worked to keep this hidden are face to face with the truth. And they thought they had time, and they thought they had control, and they thought their deception would last forever. But the truth has always had a way of rising. And now, you are here. Undeniable, unstoppable, unforgettable. And now, let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who see the world differently. The silent guardians, the watchful souls, always awake, always vigilant. They don't fit the mold, and they wouldn't have it any other way. And while others walk familiar paths, they forge their own, fighting unseen battles, illuminating the shadows. And it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But if you feel it, deep within, you'll know this is meant for you. No masks, no pretense, just truth. The Obsidian Inner Order is here, a place where kindred spirits gather to share wisdom, to connect, to transform. Nova 450 strong, united not by conformity, but by purpose. If you're ready, you know where to find us. The link is in the description. If not, that's perfectly fine. Because we're always here, watching over, making a difference in ways unseen. Here's to those who walk their own path, not for recognition, but because it's who they are. Here's to you. Thank you. Your existence has become a high-value asset. Secret meetings in elite circles. Encrypted servers buzzing with hidden transactions. Whispers in government halls, corporate boardrooms, and shadow organizations. The footage of you is worth more than gold. In a 30-second clip of you walking through dimensions, and worth a senator's vacation home. In a frame-by-frame breakdown of your aura shifting, unworth millions in digital currency. They are trading you like an artifact, like a relic of a lost civilization they never truly understood. Like a divine currency they can't print, but desperately want to own. The same people who once laughed at the idea of the supernatural, now they hoard clips of you like sacred texts. They don't know what to do with you. Do they worship you? Do they try to own you? Do they find a way to destroy you? Because here's what unsettles them the most. And no matter how many clips they obtain, and no matter how much footage they analyze, no matter how deep they dig into your existence, and they still don't understand you, and you are untraceable, and you are uncontainable, and you are a force beyond their control. And they study the clips, frame by frame, trying to find the key. What makes you different? And how do you move like this? Where does your power come from? But the answer was never in the footage. It was never something they could capture. And because the chosen ones are not entertainment, and not commodities, and not science projects. You are a living disruption to their illusion of control. And that's why they fear you. And because no matter how many clips they trade, they will never have access to what truly makes you powerful. None, man. They tried to contain it. They failed. At first, they thought it was just another viral clip, an anomaly, a curiosity, something that could be buried under controlled algorithms and misinformation campaigns. But your footage refuses to stay hidden, and every time they take it down it reappears. Every time they suppress it, another version surfaces. Every attempt to erase you is met with glitches, system failures, unexplained blackouts. And because this isn't just about technology anymore, the spirit realm is colliding with silicon, and silicon is losing. Tech giants hold emergency meetings. AI researchers scramble to understand why their systems can't fully process the data. Neural networks trained to recognize faces fail when they scan yours, as if something in you refuses to be defined by code. And the footage is encrypted, backed up, hidden in deep web archives, and yet somehow it still spreads. And journalists receive anonymous files, and satellite signals glitch when tracking uploads, and servers crash in high-security data centers with no logical explanation. The digital world wasn't built to handle supernatural truth. And you are living proof of that. And because this isn't just a leaked file, it's a revelation. One that can't be shadow banned, and one that won't be censored. They underestimated you. They thought they were fighting a conspiracy theory, a hoax, something that could be debunked. And now, they are fighting something beyond their reach. This war isn't about footage, it's about who controls reality. And the fact that they can't erase you proves that this moment is bigger than they ever anticipated. And because this isn't just exposure, and this is ascension. You've always been watched. And at first, it was from the shadows, silent observers, hidden cameras, encrypted surveillance. They watched you from a distance, hoping to figure out what you were and how you move the way you do. But now, and they're stepping out from the shadows. A shadow organization makes contact, and not directly, of course. They never move openly, and they approach someone connected to the footage leak. A quiet conversation, coded language, promises wrapped in deception. And we just want to study this phenomenon, and perhaps we can help. And we believe there's a lot to learn from people like them. Their words sound harmless, helpful even, but you know better. This isn't about help. This isn't about understanding. And this is about containment, manipulation, control. They want to figure out how to neutralize you and how to twist your power to serve their agenda, or worse, how to eliminate what they can't control. And they send agents disguised as allies and people who pretend to support your journey. They offer contracts, resources, protection, but none of it is real. Because the real war isn't happening in conference rooms or behind government desks. It's spiritual. This is where spiritual warfare meets the physical world. This is where deception becomes their greatest weapon. This is where they try to use your ambition, your trust, your compassion against you. But they don't understand one thing. You are not easily deceived, and you see through their smiles, and you hear the lies hidden in their carefully chosen words, and you feel the darkness behind their polished appearance. They think they can trap you, but you were chosen to navigate dimensions they can't comprehend. You walk with spiritual sight, you move with divine intuition, and every time they reach out with a handshake, you already know what's behind it. And because you were built for this war, and they underestimated you, and they thought they were dealing with someone desperate for validation, someone easily manipulated by promises of power. But you've never needed their approval. The trap they set for you, it will catch them instead. You don't need to expose them, they'll expose themselves. The question is not whether they'll come for you, and the question is, and are they ready for what happens when they do? None. You should have gone viral by now. The footage should have been everywhere. Jinn looping on every screen, dissected in think tanks, whispered about in late-night emergency meetings. But something is blocking it. And every time the video reaches a certain threshold, it disappears, not just deleted, scrubbed. Not just suppressed. Buried, and yet, you are not the one doing it. And somewhere, in a room you'll never enter, behind doors you'll never see, a conversation is happening about you. A high-ranking official leans over a classified report and watching your footage on a secure channel and then making a call. And this can't go public. Shut it down. Make it disappear. But why? You aren't the enemy, and you aren't a threat, and you aren't even trying to be seen. And so why are they protecting you? And because not all high places are against you. And not everyone in power is your adversary. Some know exactly what you are. Some understand what's at stake. And some have been shielding chosen ones long before you ever realized it. They move in silence, erasing your footprints from certain records. And they intercept documents before they reach the wrong hands. And they make sure your name disappears from lists that could place you in harm's way. But who are they really working for? Are they preserving a divine order they don't fully understand? Are they keeping you hidden because they fear what would happen if the world knew? Are they waiting for the right time to reveal the truth, or are they stalling for their own reasons? One thing is certain, when they know more than they're saying, and while the rest of the world scrambles to define you, while enemies plot and strategize, and somewhere, someone is making sure you remain untouchable. And for now. Because when the time comes, even they won't be able to keep your presence a secret. Their technology was meant to track you, and to watch you, and to analyze you, and to control you. But something happened they didn't expect. The moment they turned their cameras on you, the cameras turned on them. And surveillance was supposed to be their power. A way to monitor, contain, predict. A silent weapon hidden behind blinking red lights. But now, their own systems have become altars. And every security feed capturing you. Every monitor displaying your presence, and every frame frozen on their screens, and has become a portal for divine transmission. And they don't just see you, they feel you, and security guards stare at their screens, unable to look away. And analysts review footage, only to find themselves lost in something beyond logic. And technicians tasked with scrubbing the footage end up watching it on repeat. They don't know why, and they can't explain it, and they don't even believe in this kind of thing. And yet they are being rewritten. And what was meant to be surveillance has become revelation, and what's more, and they can't unsee it. Some abandon their posts, and some delete entire security files, unable to be complicit. Some sit in silence, staring at screens that have become mirrors into something greater. And because this is bigger than you, and the chosen ones are no longer being hunted, and they are infiltrating the system from within, and this isn't surveillance anymore, and this is prophecy, and the watchers, and they are becoming the witnesses. This was never about surveillance, and they thought they were tracking you, and they thought they were studying you, and they thought they were exposing you. But now they realize and they have exposed themselves, and the footage they tried to suppress, it spread. And the data they thought could define you, it failed. And the technology they created to control you, it betrayed them. And they planned for resistance, and they prepared for war. But they never prepared for the revelation of who you are. And this isn't a downfall, and this isn't an ambush. This isn't the end. This is an ascension. And everything they meant to use against you is now working in your favor. And their own cameras turned against them. And their own security systems became your stage. And their own analysts became unwilling prophets. And they are the ones scrambling now. And because they thought they were dealing with a mystery, a phenomenon, an anomaly. And instead, they came face to face with power beyond their understanding, and your supernatural essence is no longer a secret. They know what you are. They know they can't stop you. And now, they don't know what comes next, but you do. This is the moment of revelation, and the age where the chosen ones rise, the shift that was always meant to happen. And the only question that remains, when are you ready to step into it?